how's it going? This is my vlog for the 8th. I just got up. I was sleeping. It's like, I don't remember. What time is it? It's 4:08 in the afternoon, so I'm like totally nocturnalized. I've got my computer here. Yeah, I said yesterday I was going to try to finish the 1,000, and I did. It took me forever. And I finished up the day. My computer crashed. I tried to start the restart Dreamweaver twice and then restart my computer before to try to get the Dreamweaver going. And before I realized it was because my computer needed an upgrade. Whenever it needs a software upgrade, it just stops working. And I usually remember right away and go right to the software, but I tried to start it, so it wasted some time. But I did the upgrade to the new operating system, and then I tried to plug in like 1,000 on one side to get it to 2,000, because I have the one for 1,000. And when I got up this morning, after doing it for like 8 hours, it was still spinning. So I closed it down, the program, and now I'm pasting on just 100. And so if I can paste on just 120 times, I can get it on that way. So going for 10,000 on either side, that ain't gonna work. Not with this computer. I'll have to wait for the next generation of computers. Here, let me show you what I've got going on here, though. This is what I managed to make yesterday. So I can't do it for books. I'm not going to do it for the books because it's just not big enough. And 1,000 isn't even big enough for the timeline. Here, let me show you what I've got going on here. This takes forever. It just spins around. So it's barely even worth it. Well, so this is one of my biggest pages. This is the one that I test stuff on. This is North Europe, 1,500 to 2,000. Now, what I'm talking about is this stuff. This one there. So I have it going all the way down to 1,000. Each 100 has got a different background. It's got the background of the rainbow. And so, here, let's not do it like that. Let's zoom it out. Wow, that is pretty big. Just keep scrolling. Okay, so it only makes it to like halfway down England, as you can see. And so it's actually not lined up right now because there's a problem with the font. I'll fix it. It's not a big deal. I know what to do. I tried to put the font for the whole side. Anyway, so if I add one more 100, I can maybe I can fill up the rest of the timeline. So then it'll be 2,000. So, but that's really a matter of if I can, that's a matter of if Dreamweaver's even gonna respond. So, because it's just spinning around right now. I'm trying to paste. Just 10 on. No, it's 100 actually. 1 to 100. But then the problem is if it's 2,000, this whole thing might not paste on. So it's kind of an experiment. But with 2,000, it might be big enough for the whole timeline, And 1,000 is actually big enough for most of my older timelines. For example, this is here, I'll show you, 1,000 to 500 BC. is this one for South Europe. Now all I have is 100. And it so and it almost takes up the whole thing. Um, hmm. So I don't know if I'm gonna go for 2,000, but just because I'm just gonna give it a chance and just see what it does here. See if it takes too long, but I mean, that's like all day of sitting around waiting if this thing takes that long. So maybe I'll just leave it at 1,000 and yeah, you know what? That's what I'll do. I'm gonna smoke a bunch of weed right now. I actually did smoke weed when I got up. And then whenever this thing comes to life, if it does, I will entertain the idea. But by the time I'm done smoking weed in like 10 minutes, I'll probably sit around and smoke weed for like 10 minutes. Listen to music and stuff. If this thing is still spinning around in 10 minutes, when I'm done smoking weed, I'm going to, I'm just going to leave it at 1,000. But I like the idea. And I'll do it with 10,000, like on the next generations of computers, if they can make computers that are good enough to handle that. So, yeah, and then I'll throw in the 1,000 on all my timeline, my whole timeline. Because having the 1,000 on the page that I was just on, North Europe 1,500 to 2,000, and with it not taking up the whole page, I'm cool with that. I don't need it to take up the whole page, just to take up the first half, because that'll still give you an idea of how big the page is, like where are you at the end of it. So, yeah. So, anyways, I'll show you how the linking works, though. Oh, this is the wrong page. Oh no, it's the right page. So like they do have they do function as hyperlinks, just in case I ever decide to use it as a hyperlink, so I can link you to any page of the place of the page. Is the mouse working? I don't see the mouse on here. Just a second. Let me make sure the mouse is working. Maybe you can't see the mouse on the TV screen. So, yeah, I don't see the mouse, but I know it's moving. Anyway, if I were to go over here and click, I can't see the mouse. Here. So if I were to go over here and click on 154, check it out. It takes me to the year 0 to 500 world page, to the year 154. I actually have it programmed to the decade, but I can have it programmed to the actual year just for the purpose, just for my that gauge on the side. This is just for layer. It's smart to think ahead, you know. Even if I don't foresee using a link, or I do like linking to the timeline, but yeah, but because the timeline doesn't have an anchor on itself, I can eventually build it, you know. So, but it makes it so much more complicated. There were lots of problems, dude. When you tax a computer like this, like when I pasted it, it was missing whole things, whole like, you know, what are they called? Tables, the sections of the table. I had to like rebuild it, and I had to reattach the font, the CSS to all of it, which took forever because I had to do it 20 times. It took forever. You know what? Now I'm convinced myself that I can't. It's just not possible. I'm not going to do it for 2,000. I will just stick it for 1,000. And then I can build it in later off of the ones that I have here, which will be easier because it'll already be inside the table. So yeah, maybe that's what I'll do. I'll just do it with 1,000 on all of my timeline and call it a day. Because that's the whole reason I did it anyways, for my timeline. I didn't need it for the books. I'd love to have it for the books, but I'm just not there yet. So anyways, and it's a waste of time. I don't want to waste too much of my time, because I was just fighting all day yesterday with this, trying to get it going. It was crazy, because I had to like rebuild it a bunch of times, because I built the anchor before I built the link. You have to build the link for the anchor, or else you have to drag the anchor to the right place. And so Anyway, that's what I did yesterday. Yesterday I got up. I had to get up kind of early to take the car into the place. I had to pay $308. The radiator cap was broken, so I had to buy a new one of those, and they had tightened down all the clamps because when I got there, the car was steaming. It was like breaking down right when I got there, and they put the new alternator in. I guess the alternator, because it's aftermarket. I got my own alternator because I needed a special alternator to power a 1,000-watt radio. He put it in. He said it doesn't really align right, so the belt nut might last as long. Anyways, then after that, I went over and put the tires in the car and took the stereo, the subwoofer out, put it in my living room, and then drove it down to his house. And he said he would reimburse me for all the extra money that I put into the car, so that's cool. I'm going to go and figure that out because I need the money and it's a lot. And then, because he feels kind of bad for me, you know, what happened. And plus he's still getting a good deal on the car. And then came back here and, yeah, I just proceeded to work, you know. It's crazy. So, yeah, I'm just going to do it for 1,000. Unfortunately, you can't do any more. Your computer's just not good enough. Now, if I was like, if I had a thought ahead and built this in the beginning, I could have built it. And the page wouldn't have been too big. Actually, that's not true. I can't even build it in the first place. But it would have been quicker to put it in the timeline before I built it. But, you know, of course, I never knew. And that England 1,500 to 2,000 is the biggest. I think it's the most developed. I think it's the second biggest after West Europe. So, and maybe even North Europe. That's pretty big. So I hope it'll work with those too. But I'll put these into the ones that I can put in. Yeah, and if worse comes to worse and I really want to put it in, but it's too big, I could break those pages up, you know, and then put it in and then build it back up. So it's not like it's impossible. It just takes forever. You know, like I've been sitting here the whole time and it just wants to spin around. And all I'm trying to do is paste 100, which I guess is a lot. So anyway, so that's what I'm up to. My mom called me early. I guess, yeah, she wants to help me sell my stuff, my radio, but she's busy with somebody. It's like the weekend, so I don't really want to. I kind of have weekend mentality. I want to get done with this because I'm trying to add in. I'm in the process of adding in the icons in my timeline, and I really want to get to the point where I'm actually augmenting the timeline for Greece because I'm listening to Greece, Peloponnesian War. So I want to build that up, but I gotta get through what I because I'm listening to the Peloponnesian War, or I listened to the lecture twice. This other guy, I can't remember. And now I'm listening to a lecture about Rome because I'm listening to all the free like books I can get about history on Audible. I think I have like great courses. I need to go and check, make sure because it's kind of expensive. Anyways, that's enough talking. Tomorrow, hopefully, I'll be saying how I'm been attaching this to timeline pages. I mean, I have like 660 pages, so to put this on all of it, it'll take a while. I have like the smaller ones aren't as big, so it won't spin around. But yeah, I'm gonna smoke some weed, and if this thing is still spinning, I'm gonna crash. I'm gonna force quit the program, and then I'm gonna open up the 1,001 and just leave it at that, and start dumping it in pages. Okay, talk to you tomorrow.